Alok, you talked about core community, and in the morning, Chris also, amongst his 13 points, he said consumer at heart. Uh, and yes, B2B has always been doing that. So, just like for the panelists to talk about what is the change that they are seeing in terms of the way information is being absorbed by, when you started off, Anurag, and now, what is the big difference which is taking place, and is the money also shifting in the same sort of a proportion?
And I want to say one thing about Alok's company. Alok's company, and I haven't talked to him about his company in 4 or 5 years, but based on my information 4 or 5 years back, it's a unique B2B company because it gets 75% of at that time of its revenues from subscription. So it gets much lesser revenues from advertising and sponsorships.
Is that still true, Alok?
Actually, no, not from subscription. 75% of revenue, 75% of revenue comes from conferences and research, not magazines.
Yeah.
That's what.
So anyway, so substantial comes from that. Now, what is the change? The change is one, like we had Pitch, and we looked at Pitch as a magazine. I think we went the other way around in Pitch. We went to online. Clearly, online has much more traction, but it has also more competition. So the way you treat a print product in the same domain and you treat an online has to be two different. So you cannot bring the magazine content to online. So Pitch and Pitch on Net are two separate products, Pitch on Net is a homepage for brand managers and CMOs. Pitch is a magazine. So they're very different. So one thing is that within, as I keep saying, within the products there is segmentation and sub-segmentation happening. I think today some of the sub-segments of the communities that we serve have become valuable. Second is there is a huge need which we haven't done for data. I think that's where the future is. If you can provide subscription-based data, for a lack of better example like a Bloomberg or a Reuters, if we in our domain or Manak in the communities that he serves, or Alok in the communities he serves, or the communities, I mean, you had a big data play in terms of your tie-up with IDG and so on and so forth. So I think data increasingly is being sold at premium. Events have become much bigger. I think when I started, the outlay on events was much lesser. I think today people spend much more time and effort on coming to events because for a business. So I think these are the 2-3 changes I've noticed.
So your revenue, what percentage would now be coming from events? In our case, it would be close to 40% would now be coming from events.
See, it's roughly 25% from events and still 70% plus from advertising. But it's growing. 3 years back it was 10%. So it's up to 25%. So it'll probably go to 40% in the next 1 or 2 years.
And from digital, about 5% or so.
No, digital. See, in our case, we started with exchangeformedia.com.
Right.
So that is still our flagship. And again, impact on that picture. So digital is substantial. I don't know the breakup, but it is substantial.
And what about you, Manik? How would, how have the communities changed in terms of the way in which the platforms on which they are absorbing that content? And has the money also changed in the same manner?
Let me just clarify one thing, that the substantial amount of B2B magazines that we do for organizations, like we do for the Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council, we do one magazine for the Clothing Manufacturers Association of India. If you can classify professional magazines, then we do a magazine for the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Now there it's purely a print play. It's not, it's really not, it's not something where we can also get into digital because they have their own digital background. But a few places where we do have our magazines, and of course we've not really done as much as we should because there's just too many chestnuts in the fire as far as we are concerned. But yes, the fact of the matter is this today, that you have to look upon this with a very holistic view. And this is what I think Alok and Anurag have been doing it right from the beginning, because their whole basis is the community part of it. And but let me give you an example about print versus digital. We do a magazine for Tata Consultancy Services. We do an employee magazine. And I think this is one of the only employee magazines where we actually get a lot of advertising revenue. And it's a pretty large number that we do it for them. When there was a meltdown, they decided to stop the print publication and go in through the intranet, giving employee information on the intranet for what is purely a software company. But somebody there decided to take a poll on the net, on the intranet, whether you want a physical product or you want the information to be sent to you over intranet. And 65% of the techies said, we want a physical product. So they still have a physical product which goes to a substantial number of people all over the country. So you really cannot, but at the same time, it is every magazine that we do, we upload it on the net. We see that there is a further sort of, information which is sort of spread. We do even magazines for, clubs in Mumbai. But that's it. You have to use all the media possible. And one thing you've got to realize, there is no fixed model. There is just now no fixed model. There is no fixed, your mindset has to be very clear that everything is an opportunity.
In the US, Dell's Power Solution is brought out by our US subsidiary. And there we are seeing a similar sort of a change, that the number of print copies have been reduced by them. And they have said that far more, and by the way, it's a far more by several factors, are now going in terms of, Digimags and in other sort of formats. And I think even in custom publishing, the same kind of a change would start happening in India, where people will start getting more on social media and, regular content and so on. Aside from TCS, do you see any such requests coming from others as well?
Let me tell you, you see, we've heard a lot about digital media, right? Today we are trying to work in spaces where the numbers are very, very large. See, there are 1 million subscribers, there are 2 million subscribers. It's difficult to give print publications to them. And the feedback which we get from the companies is that there would be nothing like it if we could, by some way, actually send a physical product over, right? So even in our space, there is nothing. I'm sure everyone will sort of, even today will agree. I don't know, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, I never make a 5-year plan or 10-year plan, but I don't know the future. But as of the moment, in the present scenario that we are in, you see there is a value to be, as far as the print publication is concerned. It shows that you care. You are a bank, you have a relationship with your customers. You can put something on the internet and send it out to them, and you can send them a physical copy of a product every month on month on month. And the value of that physical product far outweighs what comes over the net, because the net is an open source, anything and everything can come from the net. So in that sense, yes, there is a value, but every product which we do, we see that it migrates, the content migrates to the net.
Okay. And Alok, coming to you. So, again, as you said, core communities. So how have those core communities changed in the last 5 years, and has the direction of money also changed in line with that?
I think what's happened is that as far as news and information is concerned, people are relying more and more on electronic media. As far as analysis is concerned, there isn't that much of it available right now. And so as of now, magazines are still serving that purpose. It might change once you begin to see more of analysis, on the websites. But right now, certainly the magazines aren't doing the news that they used to do. So in that sense, people are going to the news site. So now in terms of the money, it varies by sector. There are sectors where, like telecom, for example, where there is more money that's going online. There are other sectors which is less so. Also, it depends on the type of advertisers. Our global advertisers, for example, a lot of them, because of what they're doing elsewhere, now will say, no, we don't do print anymore, or we do very little print. So they are saying, no, we need to do something digital. The local advertisers, many of them, don't do that much advertising, and advertise only through magazines like ours, are still relying on print. So it varies by sector, and I think it varies by the type of advertiser. And our own breakdown now is about 35% events, 35% research, and 30% is advertising. That's for India part. For global part, I think I should have mentioned that early on, 90% of it is still subscription.
90% is subscription. That's a great model to have where somebody is paying for the content. The theme of this conference is winning through innovation. Okay, so can we relate this theme to our theme of discussion, Anurag? What really, in terms of targeting communities, are some of the innovative things that you've been doing?
Honestly, I don't know if it's innovative or not. I'll tell you in the last 1 year, because as Exchange for Media, our business is purely dependent on companies like how you feel, how much you are growing, how media companies are growing, how the community of advertising, marketing, media is growing. So in that sense, it's been a tough year. The only thing we did is we clearly maintained our momentum. So I don't know whether it's innovation, but in everything we try to invest this year so that when next year it really comes back to what it should. So I don't know whether we've done innovation or not, but I believe just to do basic things right. Today to do an event takes a lot of effort. There's fatigue in events. So at our conclave, we brought Martin Sorrell. We partnered with ISA to bring Paul Pullman. At our News Broadcast Awards, we brought Riz Khan. So, I think you have to take, we launched a new look, exchangeformedia.com, without saying anything. Just, we kept investing in content. I don't think we've done something really out of the blue or innovative. I can't. I think we've done just very basic things, right? And we've kept it. I can't say we've done something innovative.
Well, I think what you're saying is that the innovative thing is to actually really get a great star, magnet in terms of raising the level of events and so on.
It's a no-brainer, but I don't think we're struggling to find something very innovative which just cuts through. Honestly, haven't done anything innovative. We've done basic stuff right.
The thing is, I was listening to a few presentations before, and especially the international examples and what you need to do with an organization and how you need to, completely change this thing and thinking and all. And I think those things are easier said than done, because it's in that context, it's very difficult to all of a sudden change the rationale of your being there and then come up with something totally different. I think one thing innovative we have done is that we have a magazine called Innovin, which is on innovation, which we have partnered with the Marico Innovation Foundation, and we are publishing it, and I'm told it's pretty well accepted. The other thing is this, that yes, we have certain innovative ideas, but I'm really not going to be foolish enough to share them with this audience. So please wait and watch. Also, what we have now started doing, just the last aside, is that we used to have our newsletters, and we used to send out newsletters, and we used to put on, what clients we have got and what we are doing. We have really decided to discontinue that, because we have quite a few competitors in the business who then go to our clients and, badger them. So we've decided not even to talk about that. So whatever things which we do in the terms of innovation, we are, at least I'm certainly not going to.
Good. So when you are on this stage, your lips are sealed.
Just 5 seconds.
Alok, yeah.
Yeah, listen, with the environment that we are facing, you have to innovate every day. Okay, that's the only way to survive right now.
Anyone with a question on our panel discussion?
Hi, my name is Yamini. I work for a B2B magazine. We're a startup. So I'm basically just fishing for trade secrets here. So pardon me if I come across as slightly infantile. But this is a genuine concern I have. So it's early days, like I said. You said the key here is to target communities. But how do you really build a community? It takes a while for you to catch the eyeballs. Advertisers will follow after that, and then you populate through Twitter and Facebook. But how do you really, in the initial days, build a community? How do you target that?
Look, for anything, there is absolutely no formula for it, because if there was a formula, we'd all be very successful. Whether it's your digital product, whether it's your print product, it's very arduous and it's a very long process. The first important thing when you launch a product is the need for such a product. A consumer publication which may have variety of audiences which you have to sort of reach out to. So it's very simple. Identify the community, identify the need, provide them with what you want, and work at it.
Let me just add to that. The first thing that he said, you have to have a very sharp definition of the community, okay, that you're targeting. And most B2B are able to do that. Okay, and then there are databases available, so you have to sort of target the right sources of those databases by which you can reach out to that particular community. You could use some of the company databases, you could bundle it with some of their products. I remember, when we had launched PC Quest, what we did was that we said that any guy who buys an HP computer, so along with their packing, there was a coupon which gave them 6 months of free subscription. So, you use your customer databases or a customer outreach to reach out to your community. And of course, the web is a great place where you can define what is the community that you want to reach out to. Have great content which will automatically get talked about. Then word of mouth is another thing by which you will spread to others in that community.
Hi, I'm Tanushree. I'm from Eclectic Northeast magazine. Anurag, you mentioned that you're in the business of building communities, and print, digital, events are different parts of your business. Like you said, 25% of your business comes from events, conferences. So what do you think the trend is going to be in the next 2-3 years?
Tanushri, I want to say I forgot. I look up to people like PG and Alok. I started much, and I'm a pioneer in the B2B publishing. Started a magazine 30 years back, material leader. And Alok started something. So I'll tell you one thing I wanted to say, there's a huge, tremendous potential for B2B. I've gone into B2C magazines, I'll do both. We have acquired Businessworld, we may do a political magazine, all that will keep happening. But what gets me going is B2B. So the only reason sometimes people don't put enough attention, because you don't do fleet street quality in B2B. You don't do top-notch content. I think you can do your events well when your editorial product is good. So we still worry about whether we lose a story. Our editorial product has to lead. If our editorial product doesn't lead, we cannot do events. How does Sir Martin Sorrell know us? Because we are the #1 media advertising site. It's not because, he likes me or, whatever. So your editorial product has to get attention. That's one. So I wanted to say, as far as events is concerned, our events portfolio will grow. We launched 6 events last year. Hopefully we'll launch 10 next coming year. I think events will grow to about 20-30%. I don't know. Substantial. Just I want to give you 3 events. We will launch the newspaper advertising award. Hopefully with AIM we will launch the magazine award. I'm just saying, an advertising. We are not about magazine award, magazine advertising. So that we can reach out to marketers to do. We launched branded content. In April we do branded content. These 3, we are launching a design event because we didn't have a design event. So really events will be big. But the only thing I tell my team is I want money today for people showing up at our event. So we used to do free events. Last 2 years we took our content up. We took our revenues in 20% of our overall event P&L. I think I want to make it 70% while the sponsorship grows. So once we try to be the best event in that domain, it's not easy. Our domain, lots of competition like every domain. Second is we invest a lot. For us, for me, the most important part of our business is our editorial. If we get good at that, our events will continue to grow.
I just want to disagree on one point, and I think that is the change also that we see, that no longer is shoddy journalism or shoddy packaging or shoddy printing part of the B2B, sort of thing. You say B2B and you think it's some really flimsy thing. So what Anurag said in that sense is, at least as far as I'm concerned, because, I'm a journalist by profession. To me, the most important part of it is the content. Of course, the most important part of it is the packaging, because if you don't have good packaging, nobody's going to read your content. But your content has to be and is of a standard which we can match any consumer publication on. And I just take this thing, that as far as content is concerned, I don't think there's any company in this country that creates so many different genres of content as we do. In every space, whether jewelry, whether...
So Manak is a pioneer in the customer publishing. He makes more money than all 3 of us put together.
This is not
but I talked about B2B publishers in general. Sometimes I'm afraid to call myself B2B publisher because the kind of B2B publishers I meet, I don't want to be like them. When I grow up, I want to be like PG or Alok. I don't want. So I'm not. Yeah, I have.